well, a couple ways I would describe myself in a creative point is open-minded. Because I like to try different things. I don't really like putting a limit to the things that, you know, I can do. I feel like nobody should put a limit to what they can do, because you can do anything that you know, put your mind to. And then crazy, because I'm just wild. Growing up in the Bronx has influenced me creatively. Well, not creatively, but just like it has something to do with me because I grew up there, and just like J-Lo came from there. A lot of big people came from the Bronx, so it's like a big motivation because it pushes me, and it's like, oh. And then also it's like I hear some of those people that I grew up listening to in my sound as well. So it's a big, you know, motivation. I don't think being from New York gives me an opportunity to be more successful, just because like you can live anywhere and it has everything to do with the person and how hard they're working and the connections that they got. You know, it has everything to do with work ethic. I knew I wanted to become an artist when I was with my uncle and we went to the High Line in Manhattan and we did our first video for YouTube. Yeah, we was just doing a series of different, I think I sang the Star Spangled Banner. I think I sang a Cheetah Girl song, Michael Jackson. It was just doing a whole bunch. If I wasn't okay, so one thing that my fans don't know about me that, you know, they might find interesting is if I wasn't a singer, I would be a crime scene investigator. I really love science, but, you know, I couldn't go to John Jay and become a singer. Like, my intuition never lies, so, you know, and then I'm a big observer, so I'll be up in that crime scene, you know, swabbing, say I see a little drop of blood, I swab it, put it in the little, you know, plastic so it don't get contaminated. I watch Law & Order, CSI Miami, I watch all of that. So the way I met Fat Joe was because I did a Wild Thoughts freestyle on Instagram, and one of the hottest hosts in New York City, his name is Pretty Lou, he had posted the video, and he has a really close relationship with Joe. And Joe, at the time I was 17, so, you know, Joe had asked Pretty Lou, like, yo, who's this girl? And he was like, you know, it's a 17-year-old girl, she's a singer, she's from the Bronx, she's Dominican, and, you know, we actually gonna be up in the studio, and we're gonna be working on, you know, my single for the mixtape, because he was working on a mixtape. And so Joe, he stopped by with his wife, and they were listening to me. He told me, the first thing that he told me was play 3 of your hottest tracks, and always remember, you can never make a first impression twice. So that was one thing that he said that really stuck with me. And then yeah, I sang for him and his wife, like, later on, like during the night. He actually told me this months later. He was like, yo, when we left that night, my wife, she was like, you gotta sign her. I was like, oh, I love you, Lorena. So I got connected with Roc Nation because of Joe. So after I got signed with him, like 8 months to a year later, that's when I got signed. He was like, he's a huge believer. Like he really roots for me. So he wanted Roc Nation to also give me that push. So I did have a chance to meet Jay-Z. I was actually in Roc Nation, and it was actually after the meeting of when they had introduced me as their artist, and he had stopped by at the end of the meeting. He actually really liked my single, More in the Morning. Before it came out, we actually let him listen to it, and one thing that he said was, you know, this is it. So that we went with that. We instantly knew that we wanted that to be the single. I only met him twice, so I met him that one time, and then the second time I met him in the Roc Nation brunch. But when I met him, when I saw him again in the Roc Nation brunch, it was like very, very brief, so he didn't really drop gems.